This is an art collage novel video. I made this series so you guys can experience the story faster. The video will focus on the character's psychology, the images are for illustration purposes only. I like it, I want it. These few words caused Mu Fengjun's words to be stuck in his throat. He wanted to say it, but he didn't know what to say. He could only watch helplessly as the other party kept his puppet and left. An endless sense of grievance and humiliation spread in his heart, causing his expression to become extremely ugly. His eyes were bloodshot and completely red. Elder Hong, I'm so sorry. Hand over a gene of soul sprout. Yong Tianyun laughed out loud and extended his hand to ask for it. Mu Hong's expression was extremely ugly. He didn't expect Mu Fengjun to lose, and to lose so thoroughly and so quickly. It was completely different from what he had expected. That Li Yunxiao is only relying on his amazing profound artifact. He gritted his teeth and said angrily, he really has an undeserved reputation. I don't care if he has an undeserved reputation. Yong Tianyun's eyes glowed as if he was thinking about something. He only smiled and said, I'm thinking about how to use all these soul sprouts. The smug look on his face was revealed without any scruples. Humph. Mu Hong's face turned purple with anger. He threw out a storage bag, and his facial muscles twitched a few times. Mu Fenghua had also been in deep thought, as if he was still immersed in the previous battle. He gradually came back to his senses and bowed to Yong Tianyun. Thank you, Lady Tianyun, for saving my brother. It's fine, Yong Tianyun chuckled. I am doing this for my own good. If my younger brother were to die, Elder Hong would probably rush out to kill him on the spot, and my 500 grams of soul sprout would also be gone. Mu Hong snorted coldly, of course he'll kill. But I won't renege on your soul sprout. Do you think that I, Mu Hong, am so untrustworthy? I naturally trust Elder Hong's reputation, Yong Tianyun said with a smile. However, you have broken the rules of the Red Moon City by rushing out to kill people. I'm afraid that you will become a prisoner of the Red Moon City in the blink of an eye. Who can I go to for my soul sprout? Humph. Mu Hong's expression changed slightly. Although the Red Moon City is powerful, I'm not afraid of them. Yong Tianyun smiled and stopped talking to him. He looked at Mu Fenghua and asked, Young Master Fenghua, what do you think of the battle just now? If it were you, would you be able to win? A ripple appeared in Mu Fenghua's calm eyes as he said softly, very strong. That Li Yunxiao is really strong. I'm looking forward to fighting him. He spoke in a relaxed manner, but the veins on his hands behind his back were bulging, and the blood in his body was gradually warming up. When Yunxiao and Mu Tianjun walked out of the fighting space one after another, many people rushed up to like and follow each other, but under Yunxiao's cold gaze, they all retreated in horror. Then, when Mu Fengjun came out, all kinds of ridicule and sneers were heard. Mu Fengjun was in a daze. He only felt the world spinning. He spat out a mouthful of blood on the spot and fell to the ground, unconscious. The battle had attracted a lot of attention, and Yunxiao did not want to cause too much trouble. He quickly left the second floor, trying to walk out of the trading hall. Suddenly, a figure blocked his way. It was a young man in a black robe. He had a handsome face and an alchemist badge on his chest, which had a complicated pattern. Yunxiao recognized it at a glance as a 6th-tier badge. Lord Yunxiao, my master would like to have a chat. The young man said humbly and courteously, his face full of sincerity. As an alchemist, there were very few who could be so gentle and elegant. Is your master Yong Tianyun? Yunxiao asked. Is he? The young man was taken aback and immediately said, it is. Could it be that my lord knows my master? He asked curiously. I used to know him, Yunxiao said with a smile. But not anymore. The young man pondered for a while, not understanding the meaning of this sentence. He could only smile and say, Lord Cloud Sky must be joking. Please follow me. Yunxiao followed him and soon walked into a luxuriously decorated VIP room, where he could see the entire trading hall. Lord Yunxiao, please wait for a moment. My master will be here soon. Yunxiao frowned and said, he wants to see me, and he wants me to wait for him? I'm sorry, my time is precious. Since he's not here, then let him come see me next time. Yunxiao turned and was about to leave. This Tao Wu. The young man was completely dumbfounded. How many overlords and grandmasters wanted to see his master? They could wait for a year and a half without any complaints, and they felt very honored. Yet, Yunxiao was not willing to let him wait for a moment, and even wanted his master to meet him in person. Who does he think he is? The 7 sect masters or the 10 martial emperors? Fuck. The young man, who had always been gentle and elegant, couldn't help but curse in his heart. He really wanted to rush up and hit him with a few bricks from behind. Lord Cloud Sky, wait a moment. But, his great self-restraint made him hold back. He ran up to Yunxiao politely and stopped him, explaining, my master was slightly delayed by something, but he will be here soon. You really know my master? He asked suspiciously. My master is an elder of the Sea of Soul Formation, a 9th-tier alchemist, Yang Tianyun. The young man felt it was very necessary to declare the identity and status of his master. As for the young Tianyun Yunxiao knew, he must be someone else. Yunxiao gave him an indifferent glance. Not bothering to say another word, he walked straight out. Is young Master Yunxiao really that impatient? Young Tianyun's laughter rang out, followed by a middle-aged man. The two of them came up to Yunxiao with a smile on their faces. Yunxiao glanced at young Tianyun and felt a little disappointed. Although he was not very familiar with young Tianyun in his previous life, they were both Sea of Soul Formation elders, so they could be considered colleagues. Things had remained the same, but people had changed. He did not expect to see him in such a situation when they met again. When he had spared Mu Fengjuan's life earlier, young Tianyun thought that it was his reputation that had intimidated Yunxiao, but in fact, Yunxiao had only shown mercy for the sake of their past cooperation. It's all because Elder Tianyun is too arrogant, Yunxiao said indifferently. That's why I lost my patience. Taken aback, young Tianyun secretly gave Yunxiao a few more glances in surprise. He had thought that Yunxiao would be flattered by his appearance, or at least be polite in front of him. He did not expect him to criticize him. But, he was a 9th-tier alchemist after all, so he naturally would not make a fuss about it. Moreover, he had just won a pound of soul sprouts, so he was in a good mood. It's not that I'm being arrogant, but I was indeed delayed by something. This is the president of the Alchemist Association in Red Moon City, and also my first disciple, Fu Yu. He introduced the middle-aged man behind him. With a respectful look on his face, Fu Yu hurriedly stepped forward and said to both young Tianyun and Yunxiao, it's my great fortune to be able to recognize young Master Yunxiao. Fu Yu had once witnessed Yunxiao's battle with Ruinxiang, so he was 100% convinced, and the respect he showed at this moment came from the bottom of his heart. He seemed to be older than young Tianyun, but in fact, they were about the same age. However, in the art of alchemy, the most accomplished alchemist came first, and Fu Yu was only an 8th-tier alchemist. The Alchemist Association's power in Red Moon City was very weak, and the city's strategy was to develop merchants and suppress the forces of sects. Therefore, all the businesses in Red Moon City were flourishing, and the 7 permanent members of the Business Alliance were all very weak, so the influence of the Alchemist Association was minimal. The young man, on the other hand, had a strange look on his face. His senior brother was an 8th-tier great alchemist, so it was a little unreasonable for him to be so respectful to this young man. Young Tianyun looked at him and smiled. This is my second disciple, Xiaoran. I hope young Master Yunxiao doesn't blame me for my rudeness earlier. Yunxiao gave the two men an indifferent look and said, your disciples are all quite polite. There's nothing impolite about them. It's someone else who's being unreasonable. Young Tianyun laughed and said, in that case, let's go in and talk. How could he not know that he was the one who was being unreasonable? After spending a short time with Yunxiao, he had a rough idea of what kind of person the other party was, and he would lose face if he continued to talk about it. So, he immediately changed the topic. The 4 of them walked into the VIP room. Yang Tianyun cast a seal to isolate the room from the outside to prevent anyone from eavesdropping. When Yang Tianyun saw Yunxiao's calm expression, he could not help but admire him in his heart. Young Master Yunxiao's strength has shown itself in the battle just now, and it has already broadened my horizons. That corpse puppet battle saber should be an antique, right? With his eyesight, he could naturally tell that the Thousand Autumns tyrannical saber was extraordinary. There were probably only a few people in the world who could refine it. Yunxiao yawned. It's just ordinary. This answer was neither painful nor itchy, which stunned Yang Tianyun. He only felt that he had nowhere to go, so he could only ask his question directly. I saw 3 golden tadpole-like characters appear under your blade just now. I wonder if you can recognize those 3 characters? Yunxiao rolled his eyes at him and said slowly, oh? Are you talking about the 3 Maha ancient characters? Gulp. Yang Tianyun's throat seemed to be stuck for a moment. He thought that the other party wouldn't know, but he didn't expect that the other party would be more professional than him. He said awkwardly, yes, it's the Maha ancient scripture. Young Master Yunxiao actually knew these words? I wonder how many words you've mastered. How many words? Yunxiao was stunned for a moment, then asked, what's so strange about this word? I've been learning since I was young, so I've probably mastered tens of thousands of them. Silence, a deathly silence. The eyes of the 3 people popped out, and there was no sound. Nonsense. Ran finally couldn't hold it in and angrily said, there are only about 400 Maha ancient characters found so far. Where did these tens of thousands come from? Yunxiao's strange and dull expression was gone, and a smile appeared on his face. He looked at Xiaoran with a smile in his eyes and said, so there are about 400 ancient Maha characters in the Sea of Soul formation. I wonder how many I can master. Yang Tianyun and the other 2's faces instantly turned ashen white, especially Xiaoran, who instantly lost all color. The person in front of him was too cunning. He had originally planned to dig out the other party's background, but he didn't expect that the other party would dig out the Soul Formation Sea's background with a casual sentence. The research of the Maha ancient scripture had always been one of the top secrets of the Sea of Soul Formation and the Holy Region. Even Gu Feiyang, who was an honorary elder of the Sea of Soul Formation, did not know about it. The 3 of them were the researchers of this work. Cough. Young Master Yunxiao is so cunning. Yang Tianyun coughed a few times to cover up the embarrassment of the 3 of them and said with a smile, the Sea of Soul Formation has almost mastered the discovered characters. Yes, Yunxiao nodded with a smile. The same. Young Master Yunxiao, what do you mean by the same? Yang Tianyun asked. It's the same as the similar you mentioned, Yunxiao said with a smile. It's the same as what you said. Yang Tianyun's heart was stifled. He coughed a few times and said seriously, Young Master Yunxiao, I hope that we can have a frank and honest talk. This honesty and frankness will depend on Elder Tianyun's sincerity, Yunxiao said. Fuyu couldn't stand it any longer and hurriedly said, Young Master Yunxiao, my master can be considered an all-powerful figure. He came to talk to you personally, which shows his sincerity. All right. Yunxiao frowned and said, I'll see how you're going to be honest. Yang Tianyun nodded. To be honest, I have a copy of Young Master Yunxiao's information. It's recorded from your birth in the southern region to your defeat of Ruinxiang in the northern sea. I even found out how many generations of your ancestors were there, but the information in some places is very vague. Yunxiao's face was as cold as ice as he said in a cold voice, you mean you want me to complete this information? Yang Tianyun felt his anger and smiled. Young Master Yunxiao, please don't be angry. Although it's shameful to investigate your background, I believe that after the battle in Red Moon City, every force is doing it. It sounds hard to accept, but with Young Master's intelligence, you should be able to understand. However, if the Sea of Soul Formation couldn't find out the details, it's even more impossible for them to find out. What Yang Tianyun said was true, and Yunxiao had already guessed it. After the Battle of Red Moon City, or even earlier, many people must have investigated his identity, but it was inevitable that he would be a little angry when someone said it in front of him. What did you find? What are you missing? Yunxiao said grumpily. See if I can make it up for you. Yong Tianyun forced a smile and said, before he went to Jialan Academy, young Master Yunxiao was a profligate son. Although his cultivation talent wasn't trash, he was almost there. He had never done anything outstanding. The only interesting thing was that you, Qinshin, and Hanbai were bullied by Lan Fei and the others. You were supposed to lose, but you went crazy and fought with your life on the line, and you won in the end. This was the only time you stood out before you entered Jialan Academy. Yunxiao. Yong Tianyun looked at him and continued, among these rich and powerful nobles in Tianshui, you and Lan Fei have had a total of 173 fights, but you have only won about 30 times, and you were beaten badly each time. Not cowering despite being defeated, this can be considered a kind of talent. Yunxiao's eyes burned with anger. In this way, would he still have any privacy? Yong Tianyun leaned on the chair and smiled. This is the scary thing about intelligence work. With your rise, these things will be investigated clearly sooner or later. After you entered Jialan Academy, you didn't do anything at first. You continued to be a coward and was bullied all the time. You never changed. Yong Tianyun continued, until he died. He changed the topic and his expression became serious. It was not until you showed your extremely high talent in alchemy when you first went to the Alchemist Association that everything began to change. It should have changed when you showed your talent in alchemy, Yong Tianyun said. So, this change should have appeared before you went to the Alchemist Association for the first time. What does that mean? Yunxiao asked coldly. Yong Tianyun smiled and said, we don't know why this change happened. In fact, it's not important. This is only the first mystery. However, there are still a few things we don't understand. For example, why did Martial Emperor Tianqin and Divine Control Martial Emperor appear in the sky above Yanwu? I don't believe they're here to fight for the land of spiritual energy in Yanwu. The third mystery is in the center of the demon land. What happened in the enchantment set up by the throne? Is the legendary supreme artifact Noah's ship coming into being? The fourth mystery, what happened above Songyue City? Where did the demon clan and the Four Extremes sect go? Are all the people of the Merchant Union dead? The fifth mystery, where did young Master Yun get all his profound level weapons from? Yong Tianyun said this in one breath and felt much better. These were the results of the Sea of Soul Formation's extensive investigations. The higher-ups of the Sea of Soul Formation had been at a loss for a long time. Elder Tianyun, Yunxiao said indifferently. Are you interrogating me? Of course not. It's just that these mysteries are too confusing. Young Master Yunxiao has the right to not answer them, Yong Tianyun replied with a smile. After the battle in Red Moon City, Yunxiao had entered the focus of observation of all major forces. Jiang Churen's judgment made everyone eager to know his background. After pondering for a while, Yunxiao said, don't you have any guesses of your own? Young Master Yunxiao, you're indeed cautious, but it's normal for this to concern your privacy. Of course, there are conjectures. For example, Enigma 1 and Enigma 5 should be caused by the same thing. We guess that you have obtained the inheritance of some powerful person. And the saber you used in the battle space against Mu Fengjun further confirmed this conjecture. Although I didn't take a close look at that battle blade, I'm sure that it's an upper-grade 9th level profound armament. There are only a few people in the world who can refine it. This speculation is almost the truth, Yunxiao said slowly. It's almost the same as the truth. As for the other three, I'm afraid I can't answer them. Disappointment flashed across Yong Tianyun's eyes, but this result was reasonable. He said, although it seems that we did not gain anything, at least we have confirmed the first and fifth mysteries. It has solved many of our doubts. I can explain what happened in Songyue City, Yunxiao said. After Chen Feng of the Blade sect left, I also flew away with the people of Tianyuan Trading Company with a magical treasure. I'd like to know what happened after that. Oh. This means that other than the Four Extremes sect and the demon race, no one else knows? Yong Tianyun's face turned serious. Ruinxiang of the North Sea is also an accomplice, Yunxiao said. But it seems to be more difficult to find him than the people of the Four Extremes sect and the demons, right? The Sacred Zone has already sent people to the headquarters of the Four Extremes sect, but they were all gone. All the resources have been transferred away. The current Four Extremes sect had already become an empty shell. Although it was still huge, it had completely lost its backbone. Now the Merchant Union is busy dividing up the Four Extreme sect's industries and is not so keen on finding the murderer. Oh. The Merchant Union has eyes all over the world, even above the Holy Region and the Sea of Soul Formation. If they want to find the murderer, they can't have no clues. Yunxiao frowned as he thought for a moment and said, "Is there another change in the Merchant Union?" It does seem like there's a problem now that you've put it that way. Yong Tianyun also pondered. It had been some time since the incident in Songhua City, which had a great impact on the Merchant Union. They should have taken action. However, these matters should be the responsibility of the saints. We, the Sea of Soul Formation cultivators, don't have so many thoughts. Yunxiao gave him a look, snorted coldly, and said, "If you don't think so much, why did you list out the 5 great mysteries?" Young Master Yunxiao, you don't have to be afraid of me. After all, I don't have any ill intentions. Yong Tianyun laughed. Besides, young Master Yunxiao has also received the Alchemist badge of my Sea of Soul Formation. From what I can see, young Master is already an 8th tier being. What? The 2 disciples behind him were taken aback as they looked at Yunxiao in horror. The #1 rising star of martial arts was actually an 8th tier alchemist? I wouldn't have believed it if I hadn't seen it with my own eyes. Yong Tianyun forced a smile. I wonder what inheritance young Master Yunxiao has obtained. You're so terrifying in both martial arts and sorcery. I'm afraid you'll be the #1 sorcerer of the younger generation. He seemed to be reminiscing and sighed. As far as I can remember, the only person who has achieved such amazing achievements in dual daos in the past hundreds of years is the martial sovereign vanquisher, Gu Feiyang. From what I can see today, young Master Yunxiao's future achievements will definitely be above Gu Feiyang's. Yunxiao did not deny it, but said indifferently, "Elder Tianyun, are you mocking me? Now, the whole world knows that my Dantian is damaged and my martial arts foundation is destroyed. It will be difficult for me to advance in the future. There's indeed such a rumor. I believed it at first, but I don't believe it anymore after seeing you." Yong Tianyun smiled faintly. I don't believe that a peerless genius can still be so calm after his martial Dao foundation has been destroyed. He can still stroll around the market, fight, and chat with me. Young Master's deception is truly brilliant. Yunxiao frowned and snorted. It's up to you whether you believe it or not. Do you think you have to frown every day just because your martial Dao foundation has been destroyed? Then, do you dare to let me take a look, young Master Yunxiao? Yong Tianyun asked with a smile. If the foundation of martial arts is really destroyed, then I'm afraid that the only one in the Sea of Soul Formation who has the hope of curing young Master is me. No need, Yunxiao refused flatly. Let's talk business. Did Elder Tianyun ask me to be honest with you just to answer your questions? That's only one of the reasons. The second reason is that, as an elder of the Sea of Soul Formation, I'm now officially inviting young Master Yunxiao to join the Sea of Soul Formation. Yong Tianyun said.